And this is my favourite bit, this beauty. What do you think about your jumper? I ripped it back to there and I reknit the leaf motif. Now, I made a mistake quite early on with this one. Hi, welcome to Knitting Matters. My name's Amy. I'm a knitter based in the UK, specifically in Wales. My needles have been very busy the last few weeks, so I've got a lot to talk to you about today. So let's dive in. So the first finished item for this week is what I'm wearing today. So this is my Ingrid Sweater by Petite knit. It is made in 100% Highland Peruvian wool from, here it is, from Knit Picks. This is the palette yarn. It is not the yarn that is intended or the weight that is intended for this sweatshirt, so I held it double. But I just completely fell in love with the colours in this yarn. So I don't know if you can see from there, but it is this beautiful red that is flecked with purples and a little bit of blue in there as well. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. But it is a colour that I completely fell in love with, and I had to make something with it. So I held it double to get a double knit weight. The pattern is slightly more than a double knit weight. It is a double knit held with a fingering, so technically an Aran weight. So my gauge was just half a stitch smaller than it should be. And to compensate for that, I just made a bigger size. So that's the yarn. It is 100% Highland Peruvian wool. It is very soft, machine wash only, but I do wash it in the machine on the wool cycle, obviously. But it's really nice yarn, really soft. It has a touch of rusticness to it, but I don't mind that. I really enjoy wearing it. I find it to be soft. I find it to be breathable and very warm. The pattern is amazing. So it is, you start by knitting the back yoke, and then you pick up stitches here for the left and right shoulders to knit the front yoke, whilst obviously shaping for the neckband here. And once the yoke is complete, you join in the round and continue to knit these beautiful patterns all through the sweatshirt. So you have double moss stitch, you have double ribbing, there's eyelet bands that run in between each section. And this is my favourite bit, this beautiful faux cable lattice stitch here. I really enjoyed doing this pattern. I do find it to be slightly on the shorter side. I generally like my sweatshirts to hit me here on my hips, but it is perfect for just that little French tuck if you want to do that. That's entirely my own fault because I did not use the recommended yarn, nor did I use yarn that was the recommended gauge. So my row gauge is slightly shorter than it should be, therefore my sweatshirt is slightly shorter than it should be. But I'm happy with it. I may go back and make it a little bit longer, but actually I'm inclined not to. I'm really enjoying the fit the way that it is now. I've worn it quite a lot, and I have noticed just a little bit of pilling here. I haven't de-pilled it yet, can you see? Not so much that it bothers me or that I need to get my de-piller out, she says, pulling all the bubbles off. But yeah, that's my Ingrid sweater. I've really enjoyed making it, really good pattern. I have found all the patterns from Petite Knit to be really clearly written, with lots of explanations on things. There's links to videos on her website if you need that. The charts are also really helpful, I find. But this is my first finished project, and one that I've had a lot of use out of since I finished it. Now, I've got two more finished projects from this week. So I decided to knit my children each a sweatshirt for Easter this year. I wanted them to have one chocolate egg and then some hand knits. So for my daughter, and I think I showed this on the last podcast, I think I'd started it, and this is the Cloud Sweater Junior by Petite Knit. It is a very basic stockinette jumper, which you pick up the sleeves here, and it has a very basic roll neck collar. It is a simple pattern, but it is a brilliant pattern. It is very, again, clear, well written, enjoyable to make, and absolutely flew off my needles. I think this is the fastest project I've ever made. And my daughter loves it. She really, really loves it. It is a simple design. She pulls it on and off all the time. We've had a lot of wear out of it already. So she's had it just not quite a week and she's worn it every day since. So I made it using, the recommended yarn for it is Cos by Sandnes Garn. I didn't use that. When I priced it up, it was just a little bit more than I wanted to spend for a jumper that she's definitely going to grow out of by next year. So I don't know if I said I made it in the age 7 to 8, which fits her so beautifully. I'll put some pictures of her wearing it, or link to my Ravelry page where you can see lots of pictures of her wearing it if you're interested in that. And I made it out of this yarn, which is Drops Air. It's a blown alpaca yarn here and I made it, I think it was 5mm needles. So this is the colour Strawberry Ice Cream. She originally wanted yellow. She wanted a yellow jumper, but when we were looking, because I tend to buy the yarn when I'm making things for my children with them, because I want to make things that they want to wear. So she saw this colour and she was like, no, I don't want yellow, I want that. So I believe it's called Strawberry Ice Cream. It's a really nice yarn. It was really pleasant to work with. It's really soft and it went surprisingly far. So these are 50-gram balls. I think I bought 8 or 9 of them, and I only actually used 170 grams. So I used just less than 4 balls, which is a lot less than I was anticipating. And I think, based on my calculations, I have enough left over to make her another exactly the same but in the next size up, and she really would like that. So that's the first finished project. The only thing I will say about this yarn is she's had this for about a week and she's worn it quite a few times, but already we're starting to get a little bit of pilling on the sleeves, so you can see that there. Is there anything you want to say about your jumper? What do you think about your jumper?
It's pretty and it's very warm.
It's very warm. Does it itch you?
No.
No? You like wearing it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. There's the verdict from my 5-year-old. So yeah, that is the Cloud Sweater Junior. Definitely a pattern I will make again. Definitely a hit with her. Now my son's Easter knit is the Zipper Sweater Light, again by Petite Knit. I do use other designers, honestly, but I'm going through a bit of a Petite Knit era. So I made him the Zipper Sweater Light Junior, or the Zipper Sweater Junior Light. No, I think it's the Light Junior, in this navy blue colour. So I don't know if we'll get it all in frame here. So I made this in the size 14 to 16, and I can't get it all in. Can you see that? So I made it in Drops Daisy. So I bought 14 balls of this, which is 100% merino. It is so soft. The yarn is unbelievably soft. I have heard that it pills like crazy. We haven't got any pills yet, but that's not to say that it won't. But it is really, really soft. So 100% extra fine merino wool, and it has been a really big hit with my son. So I bought 14 balls of it. I have used just under 10. So I have 4.5 balls left. I think it used 480 grams, I think the sweatshirt was. But anyway, so I have 4.5 balls left. So enough to make, I don't know, maybe a hat, maybe some mittens, something small. Maybe I'll just use it for some colour work. I'm quite tempted to make the Celeste sweatshirt. So if I do it in Drops Daisy, I have one colour already. But either way, I'm not committed to anything with the leftover yarn. The pattern, again, really beautiful pattern, really well written. I find once you get to the split for sleeves, it just flies off the needles because it is just stocking it in the round. over and over, which I can do. I can binge watch. I've been watching The Office, the US version. I love the UK version, and I was always resistant to watch the US version because I thought it's not going to be as good as the original. But I stand corrected, it is very funny and I'm really enjoying it. So I watched quite a few episodes of The Office US whilst making this. It is incredibly soft. It is incredibly satisfying to knit. And then when it came to the zip, so Petite Knit, the pattern recommends, I think it's a 30cm zip that you cut to size and stitch the bottom to stop the zipper coming out, but 30cm one that you cut to size. Now I like to do my zip right at the very end as the very last thing I do after I've blocked it, because I like the stitches to be blocked and to settle and to stretch into their natural position before I stitch the zip in. I find that if you stitch the zip in before and then you block it, the fabric will relax and the rows will sort of settle into their natural position, but where you've stitched it you get this puckering, which I don't like. So much as I do enjoy usually doing the collar before I finish the body, because I think it helps to, you know, vision when you're trying on and things like that. On this occasion, I always put the zip in at the end. So once I'd blocked it, I measured, and this distance here was about 23 centimeters, which is the exact length of the zip that I ended up using. So this is a closed end zip and I didn't have to do any alterations. You can see the bottom of the zip here, and I just stitched it in relatively straightforward. I didn't have to do any tweaking with the zip. Yeah, so I really enjoy this feature. I love the little bit that just hides the bottom of the zip, stops it from scratching on your chest as well. So this facing that they have here. So yeah, I really enjoy this pattern. I've got some pictures of my son wearing it. The only thing that I will say is that I made the biggest size in the junior pattern, which I think is 14 to 16, expecting it to have lots of growing room for my 10-year-old. I measured him this and I measured this, and this is only 2 centimeters. The chest circumference is only 2 centimeters smaller than the pattern suggests that it would be, which I think if I was a bit more aggressive with my blocking, I could make it the right size that the pattern says it should be. But it doesn't have as much growing room as I anticipated it would, or that I hoped it would, which means that the next zipper sweater I make my son will have to be the man's size, and that makes me feel a bit sad because he is only 10. But that aside, it is a learning curve, and for my daughters, I really hope to make one after the success of this one. She really enjoys his zipper sweater, and I want to make her one in the light blue version of Drops Daisy. They have, I think it's called Sky Blue perhaps, I can't remember exactly, but I really want to make one for her, and I think that will be one of the next projects that I cast on. But yeah, that is my son's zipper sweater light junior. Yeah, and I really enjoyed making it, and I would definitely make another one. Okay, so moving on to my works in progress. This, the first one I want to show you is my porcelain sweater, and this is a pattern by Linahom Samso. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Here, the porcelain sweater, Linnet. It is a pattern that once, this picture specifically, I saw this and completely fell in love with it. I wanted to make my sweater exactly to look like that. I wanted to use the same yarn, the same colours, and I wanted the same amount of positive ease. So I pretty much immediately bought the yarn. I'm using the Tin Pedigant and Tin Silk Mohair in the recommended colours, which I believe the names are Marzipan and Jolly Blue. I might have that mixed up. Yarns that I haven't used before. I tend to try and use British yarns if I can, she says, having just knit 2 garments out of Drops, but either way. This is, so the last time I updated on my progress for this one, I had made a pretty significant error halfway through the leaves. I had omitted a whole row of the colourwork, so they all were smushed together and it just looked terrible. So I pulled it, I ripped it out up until this blue line here. Don't know if you can see that. I ripped it back to there and I reknit the leaf motif, and as you can see, since then I've also moved on and knit the final colourwork border as well, this sort of snowflake motif. So again, the same as with this one, I think this, I've tried it on and I'll try and insert some pictures for you here. It's about 2 centimetres shorter than I think I would like it to be, but this is, at the moment, this is unblocked, so I'm going to wait and see what that looks like once it's blocked. But I really want this to be perfect, so once it's blocked and everything's done, I think if it's not perfect, I will rip it back and make this stockingette just a couple centimetres longer, because I think I'd rather have a longer section of stockinette here and then have a longer section of ribbing, if that makes sense. So I think if I need to, that's what I'll do, but I will wait and see. So I have done the neck band. There's this little hole here that's annoying me, so I will try and correct that with maybe a duplicate stitch, or just pull it together with some stitches. But if it doesn't fix, I may have to redo the neckband, because that will annoy me. I have a tendency to be a little bit of a perfectionist with knitting, and I was listening to a podcast which was talking about the different types of knitters. So there's the process knitters and the project knitters, and I definitely think I'm a process knitter, so I would rather knit the same thing over and over again and get it perfect and keep ripping it out until it's perfect. The finished object at the end is like the cherry on the cake. I knit because I enjoy the process of knitting, not because I want the final product, although I do want this. So yeah, I have got no problem ripping out and going back and starting again and making it as I want it to be. So that's where I am with my porcelain sweater. I'm going to cast on for sleeves. Hopefully that will be soon. Hopefully I'll get the sleeves cast on this weekend. Now I made the size extra large on 2XL, which is 2 sizes bigger than the chest measurements say it should be. I did that for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because I've been stalking Ravelry, looking at everyone who's made this project, and I noticed a lot of them didn't have as much positive ease as they wanted to. They'd written in the comments, you know, I wish I'd made a bigger size. So I had the impression that perhaps the ease was a bit smaller. But I also noticed that the positive ease, or there's a comment in the pattern itself that says the model is wearing a positive ease of about 30 centimetres, whereas the pattern recommends a positive ease of 20 centimetres. So I knew that if I wanted it to look like this, which I do, that I would need to take that into consideration when looking at my bust circumference. So my bust circumference is around 104 centimetres. So I made the XL 2XL, which gives a finished bust circumference of 133 centimetres. So I will hopefully have about 29 centimetres positive ease, which is an awful lot, but I just love the way it looks. I love the way it drapes. And looking at the way it drapes now, like, I get really excited about this. Look at how swishy, like, oh. So we'll see. I'll do the sleeves and we'll see, because I look at it and I think it looks huge, but then I wear it and I remember that it's like drop shoulder, so these bits come down the shoulder a bit. And yeah, either way, I think I've gone on enough about my porcelain sweater. I'm really excited, although I'm going to get it finished in, what are we now? We're almost in May. I'm really not going to get much wear out of it until the winter, but at least when winter rolls around, I will have this beauty in my wardrobe ready to go. So that's my porcelain sweater. My other work in progress is the other thing that I cast on, and I cast this on the same time as the zipper sweater, and I just haven't had much opportunity to work on it, and that's my Dagmar Zipper, and I've done this much. So I really I've liked the Dagmar jacket, and I bought the pattern for the Dagmar sweatshirt and really thought that would make a nice jumper. And then when she released the Dagmar Zipper, I was like, that's the one. That's the one that I want to make. That's the one that I want to wear. And I spent a long time choosing the yarn. I very nearly bought the recommended yarn for it, which is a Norwegian wool. And I found an alternative, which is, I don't have it here. It is the Blueface Leicester, the natural shades by West Yorkshire Spinners, and I think the yarn properties in terms of the diameter of the yarn, the weight of the yarn, the thickness was very, very similar to that of the recommended yarn in the pattern. So I do have the ball band here. It's this one, the Fleece by West Yorkshire Spinners, the Blueface Leicester. So I've got it in the shade 02, light brown, and the gauge here is the same, or at least it was very similar to the recommended yarn from Petite Knit. So I'm giving this a go, and I have this romantic idea that it would be really lovely to have a Dagmar for me in light brown, and for my husband to have a dark brown version. Same yarn, but just a different shade. So that is the progress I made. Now, I made a mistake quite early on with this one. I'd maybe knit 2 centimeters and made a mistake. So I decided to rip it all out and start again, which is what I did. So yeah, just after the last podcast, I spent a lot of time like ripping out work that I'd already done. But that is the Dagmar Zipper. So I have done the back of the neck here, and I've started increasing for the left and right shoulders, and the increases are on every row, so it gives you this quite steep increase. I've started this beautiful cable texture here with this sort of double twist. The honeycomb, I find that really fun to work. I'm really enjoying making that. Yeah, so this is a project I'm really excited about, and I really hope to have a bit more time to work on it in the coming weeks. I've got one more project that I cast on Easter Monday. So we went for a nice hike local to us on Easter. The weather was really nice. My son was wearing his zipper sweater, so I took some nice photos. But it was a really beautiful day. The sun was shining. It was quite mild. So in terms of, I didn't feel like I needed more warmth because I was warm enough, but the wind was really strong and my ears were so cold. So as soon as I got home, I cast on this, the Weekend Headband by Petite Knit, which I had seen previously, and I didn't really understand why you would want a headband, why you wouldn't just wear a hat. And it's because I hadn't ever been on a walk quite like the one we went to on Easter Monday. So I thought this is exactly what I needed to keep my ears warm, but I didn't need the warmth on the top of my head. So I had some Drops Lima in this colour. I don't know the name of the colour, but I know it's number 619. It's a double knit weight, 100% wool, 65% wool, 35% alpaca. So I cast that on straight away. There's not a lot to say about it. It's a 1x1 tube, and I've so far knit a couple of centimeters. So there's that I cast on, and I always have, sorry, there is one more, if I can find it, there it is. I always have a small project on my needles that I carry for, you know, when I'm waiting for swimming lessons or rugby practice or gymnastics lessons to finish, because I spend a lot of my time waiting. So I have a Oslo hat, again by Petite Knit. Okay, the more I'm saying it, the more I'm realising I'm definitely in my Petite Knit era. I also do this with other designers. I've spent a lot of time knitting Debbie Bliss patterns, or Rowan is the other one. I've made a lot of Rowan patterns previously as well. So I have finished the cuff. It's a double knit, would you call it a cuff? Yeah, the headband. So it's knit in a long tube and folded up and knit together. So I finished that. I've done the turning, garter stitch turning here, and I'm just on the main body of the hat. So I should start decreasing for crowns. I've got a few more centimetres to go, and then I'll start decreasing for the crown there. This is made of the Rowan Pure Alpaca here. I don't know the name of the shade, but I can tell you it's number 128. This is my son's favourite colour, these sort of teal blues, bright blues. It's exactly aquamarine, I think he calls it sometimes. So, and if he doesn't like it, he's at the age and stage now where his head is actually only 1 centimetre smaller than mine. So, if he doesn't like it, then I will wear it. But either way, I can never have too many hats. And if, you know, worst comes to worst, we'll put it in the Christmas gifts stash. Sorry, there is one more. So I think on the last podcast I said to you that my son had asked for a Moby sweater, and that I had made it with some Berger de France yarn that I had in stash. This what's the name of it? Ideal here, which is a double knit. It's a wool and acrylic blend, so 40% wool, 30% acrylic, and then 30%, I don't know, polyamide. Either way, I bought this years ago, absolutely years ago. I have stopped doing this now, but I bought a big, huge haul from Berger de France because they had a big sale. So I just bought loads of yarn, and it sat around for so long not being used, and it's actually caused me quite a lot of stress that I have yarn in boxes. And what's worse is that, you know, I've bought yarn for projects, for example, for my daughter for a sweatshirt to knit it in age 3 to 4, and then by the time I actually get around to knitting it, she's already wearing size 7 to 8, which is really annoying. So I've stopped doing that now. I now only buy yarn when I'm absolutely ready to cast the project on. But I did have this yarn in stash, and I thought it would probably be okay for his Moby sweater. So I made him the Moby sweater, and but it doesn't fit quite as nicely as I would like it to. So I am going to finish it, but it's not going to be for him. I think I will keep it for my daughter when she's big enough to wear it. So I have finished the body. I have made absolutely no progress on this since the last podcast. The body is finished and bound off, so all I need to do is add sleeves. It might block out, you know, you can add a bit of width. The length is fine, but width wise it's too, it is just a little bit tighter fitting than he feels comfortable in. So like you can see there's quite a lot of give in the cables, and I think if I again block it aggressively it might be fine, and it might actually just pull that pattern out nicely. But for now, don't know what's going on with that cable there, but for now it's just sitting waiting for me to cast on the sleeves, and I don't have a huge amount of motivation to do that, so I think I need to be in a very proactive and productive mood to cast that on. So I probably won't talk about that one again until I'm ready to work on it, which at the moment I'm not. I'm far more invested in my Dagmar and my porcelain to be worrying about the Moby. Now, the thing that I'm really excited about is that tomorrow is Wonderwool Day, which for me is a highlight in my knitting year. It's once a year. It's held at the Royal Welsh Showground in Builth, Wales, which is in mid Wales in Powys. Huge showground, huge warehouse, and they celebrate all things yarn, knitting, fibre arts, fibre crafts. And I just absolutely love going, but I haven't, for various reasons, you know, life sometimes gets in the way. I haven't been for about 5 years, and tomorrow is the first opportunity that I've had to go, and I am going. I am going. So to paint a bit of a picture for you, they have pens there where, you know, farmers will bring their sheep, so you can see the animals, you can see the difference between a blue-faced Leicester and a Corriedale, and you can feel the fleece like on the animal. I've seen them do shearing demonstrations. They show you how to prepare the fleece, how they card it, how they clean it, how they get it into, how they prepare the roving ready for spinning. They also have workshops on spinning, on dyeing, on weaving, on absolutely everything. And of course, it is just jam-packed of people who love yarn and fibre arts as much as I do. And there are so many talented and incredibly generous with their time people who just want to share their knowledge with you. So I absolutely love it. I really love going. The last time I went, I bought this yarn bowl it's a handmade, handcrafted, hand painted, absolutely beautiful yarn bowl. And regrettably, I have lost the card that came with it. It doesn't have anything on the bottom, so I don't know where it's from, but I do know I love it. I use it all the time. It has some needles in there at the moment because I've just finished stitching. That's actually the needles I use to stitch the zip into the zipper sweater, but I use it all the time. It's really beautiful. To me, it's a piece of art in my living room. So I love finding little nuggets there. What I really love as well is discovering new yarns, new companies, new. So, for example, one of the brands that I discovered the last time I went there was Knit by Numbers, which is a John Arbon company. So I bought quite a few different coloured skeins and I've used them for various projects. This is pure Falklands merino and it is so soft, like really, really soft. I believe that they're based in Devon. And they have a huge array of colours. So I bought a few of this like foresty green and I made the, it's a shawl by Jared Flood and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. But if I can remember, I'll try and insert a picture or put the name on the bottom for you so you can see. But I made a shawl out of this. I wear it around my neck. I wear it all the time. It is so soft. It's really hardy, long-lasting wool. It doesn't pill. I think I've de-pilled it once and like I said, I haven't been for at least I must have made this at least 5 years ago, the shawl. So, but the most incredible thing about this company is the colour selection that you have. So you can take my word for it on the softness because you can't tell, but the colours are absolutely sensational. So I love finding brands like this. They have lots of really amazing hand dyers. Look how pretty this is. This is from a brand called Vintage Pearls. Hand dyed summer sock yarn. I know that you don't really, this isn't really a video about my stash or what's in my stash, but this is another one that I picked up when I went to Wonderwool, and like you can see all those beautiful greens and purples in there, which really just adds a lot of depth. I don't have a plan for this yarn yet, but I quite often look at it and it's just beautiful, just really beautiful. I also have the Voila yarn. This is also by John Arbon Textiles. This is 100% merino wool. Just look at the colour variegation in there. I think this would make a really beautiful sweatshirt, but I generally only buy 1 or 2 hanks, make something small, and if I like it then I'll buy a sweater's quantity. So I have more of the Voila. I think those colours look quite nice together. I think this is definitely my sort of colour palette here. They have lots of, I think this is a lace weight, and either way, lots of really beautiful hanks of yarn that will work together really nicely. So I'm really excited to go. I think I might be tempted by I might get a sweater's quantity of the Knit by Numbers. I really would quite like to make another Louvre sweater in the Knit by Numbers. I just need to find the perfect shade. But I think it's really nice because I have a local yarn store that is incredible. It stocks a lot of Rowan, it stocks a lot of West Yorkshire spinners. But I really love having the opportunity to squish and feel and really have an idea of the thickness, because, DK weight is different. I mean, even if I take the ones that I've got right in front of me. So these are both double knit weight. But look at the difference in thickness of those already. So this one is much thinner, the lighter one, than the dark blue. So you're already going to have a different stitch gauge. And then if you take, for example, this one is thicker again. So these are all DK weight yarns, but the thickness of all three of these varies massive, which will make a big difference to your gauge. So anyway, I'm getting a bit technical here, but the point that I'm trying to make is I really enjoy feeling the yarn, squishing them, seeing the thickness, looking at the colours in daylight. And I really enjoy just finding unique things that I wouldn't have otherwise found. Like that yarn bowl, I wouldn't have gone on to, you know, a knitting website or a fibre arts website and purchased a yarn bowl. It's because I saw it, and I met the person that made it. She was so lovely, she was so kind, she was so talented. So I'm really excited about that. There's a few patterns that I would like to make as well. So if I see yarn that would suit those patterns, then I will definitely be purchasing. So I have, what's this called? Sandnesgarn Soft for Women, I think it's called. Really nice book. I really like the Frankie sweatshirt there with the blown alpaca, but the Lou sweater is the one. I really like this one, which is very similar to the Louvre sweater, but the Lou sweater here. So I think if I see a yarn similar to that, I could be tempted. And I also, from this book, which is again a Sandnesgarn one, it's the Tin Pyrgint book, so a fingering weight with a lace weight. But I really, the Kelly is very similar. A lot of these Sandnesgarn books, the patterns are very similar. The Kelly is very similar to the Lou in the other one, and they also both have, I mean, the men's version, I really like the men's version. I think that's nice. And that purple, that is definitely a colour I would like to wear. But anyway, the pattern that I wanted to show you, which I think is right at the back, is the Guernsey sweatshirt here. So yeah, if I find yarn that would look suitable for any of these projects, then I will probably be buying that. And I may also be tempted, I would like some more of these little stitch markers. So I have a set of 4 bees and a honeycomb with this ring type fixture. So I really like those specifically, as opposed to the lobster clasp ones or the safety pin ones. So there's a few things that I could be tempted by, but either way, I'm going to try and film it. I'm going to try and show you what it's about and why I'm so excited to go. Yeah, but that's it. That's everything that I wanted to talk about today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.